Unfortunately, what came out very, very clearly is that Honorable Rigathi Gachagua was in communication with one of our main suspects in this matter, who was feeding him with this information. And apparently, he also appears to have been in communication with the border rider. But what we are saying is, if really Rigathi Gachagua meant well for these particular investigations, because we are not dealing with politics, we are dealing with a murder investigation within Mulolongo, Athi River sub-county. And this action was perceived as a direct threat to the interests of certain parties involved in the ownership and control of the property. And this particular matter is also under investigation by my DCI Mulolongo. And Rose Mbithe Mulwa, the ex-wife of the deceased husband, is a main suspect in this particular matter. Investigators have further established that Rose Mbithe Mulwa and her son, Christopher Mulwa, were the primary organizers and financiers of the conspiracy. The evidence gathered points to their central role in conceptualizing, in directing, and facilitating the operation that culminated in the unfortunate shooting of Dr. Mutiso. You will recall that on 31st July 2026, the DCI, through the Office of the DPP, filed a notice of motion before the Chief Magistrate's Court at Milimani, seeking the continued detention of Rose Mbithe Mulwa and Chris Mulwa. And the court granted us 21 days to enable us to complete this critical inquiry. On 7th of July 2026, while driving along Gong Road near Junction Mall, two unknown men on a motorcycle pointed a gun at the deceased and attempted to shoot her. She fled and reported the incident at Kilimani Police Station. The investigations remain active, intelligence-led, and forensic-led. Several additional leads are currently being pursued by our detectives, and the DCI is determined to identify, arrest, and bring to justice every person who played any role, whether as a financier, organizer, supplier of the firearm, the shooter, the rider, surveillance operative, or facilitator. Intelligence-led and forensic-led inquiries, rigorous forensic analysis, detailed CCTV examination, and intelligence-led operations rapidly led investigators to two key suspects, Daniel Mwangi Njoroge and Kelvin Ngugi Kinuthia. Daniel Mwangi Njoroge has been established as a central organizer of the operation. He was the driver of the Land Cruiser Prado, registration number KDH 600 letter A, which was used to block the Uber driver and in which the victim was traveling immediately before the fatal shooting. Daniel Mwangi coordinated the logistics. He facilitated the movement of the execution team, and he also played a key organizational role in the entire conspiracy. Two Toyota Prado vehicles were used by the suspects, one to block the road and the other to transport the members of the execution team. Through CCTV surveillance, the vehicles were identified as KDE 400 letter W and KDH 600 letter A. We managed to get hold of the owner of these two motor vehicles, who indeed confirmed to us that the two vehicles were hired out to Daniel Mwangi Njoroge on 29th of July 2026, and he returned the same on 30th of July 2026. We have also established that the vehicle had a tracking device, which tracking device placed the vehicle directly at the scene of the fatal shooting. Kelvin Ngugi Njoroge, Kelvin Ngugi Kinuthia, has been identified as the rider who ferried the shooter to the scene. We have also arrested him last night and as well recovered the motorbike whose registration number is KMGZ 780 Delta, and we have since impounded this motorcycle, and you will have an opportunity to view them once I'm done with this presser. And you may also wish to know that we have also forensically placed this motorbike rider to the scene of the fatal shooting. Njoroge and Kevin Ngugi Kinuthia. The evidence led our investigators to serving Kenya Police Service officers who apparently and unfortunately played very critical roles in the conspiracy. Inspector Kenneth Kipkemboi-Sang, the officer in charge of Nderi Police Post under Kikuyu Police Station, has been positively identified as the link person between the financiers and the operational team, as well as the source of the murder weapon. And this officer is currently on the run. Through analysis of evidence, thorough analysis of evidence has further established the identity of the officer who pulled the trigger. One PC Elijah Kibelion Kimoi, attached to Karinde Police Post under Kikuyu Police Station. He has equally been arrested, and again, we were able to forensically place him to the scene of the fatal shooting. He is the individual identified as having fatally shot Dr. Mutiso. The involvement of these rogue police officers represents a grave betrayal of the uniform and the public trust. And the Directorate of Criminal Investigations will pursue them with the full force of the law. Last evening, our investigators visited Nderi Police Post, and upon inspection of the armory steel box, a mini Jericho pistol, and again you'll be able to see that pistol, together with a magazine loaded with 12 rounds of 9mm ammunition, was recovered among other station firearms. And the scrutiny of the arms movement register established that the firearm had been earlier issued to Inspector Kenneth Kipkemboi-Sang. Today morning, this firearm was subjected to comprehensive ballistic examination at the National Police Service Forensic Laboratory. And the ballistic report has positively identified this mini Jericho pistol as the murder weapon that was used in the fatal shooting of the late Dr. Victoria Mutiso. The spent cartridges recovered from the scene and the bullet head recovered from the body during the post-mortem examination matched the test-fired specimens from this firearm. Through the interrogation of key witnesses and a detailed analysis of evidence, particulars of which cannot be fully disclosed at this stage due to the principle of sub judice, the matter currently being before court, investigators have established that the elimination of Dr. Victoria Mutiso was driven by a long-standing land dispute in a civil suit filed by one Rose Mbithe Mulwa, who is also an accused in this matter, before the Machakos law courts. Dr. Victoria Mutiso had placed a caveat on land parcel LR number 1504/13, situated within Mulolongo, Athi River sub-county.